Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Is Graham ready?
It's pretty.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'll go ahead and bring him on now.
Cool. All right. Manu, you were saying something?
Never mind. I think I was just gonna repeat basically whatever you guys already said.
Well, we have to pad time until Graham gets on. Oh yeah, there was one question in chat.
Do we have to pad time?
I mean, we might as well. There was one question in
Might as
chat, a boy with a backpack asking when we're going to do 2x2 and Pyraminx again. Do you guys have an answer for that?
Ooh, 2x2 and Pyraminx. So right now, the way it's looking, the opportunity has passed for 2x2 and Pyraminx to be held again in Season 1. We split up our competition. We split up our competition to where we were able to reevaluate each segment and see what we could do better, what could be improved. So in that case, we could always reevaluate for segment 3 and segment 4, and then maybe see if 2x2 and Pyraminx fits somewhere. But currently constructed right now, there is no plans for 2x2 and Pyraminx in segment 3 and segment 4.
I think Graham's on. I think.
Is Graham on?
Yeah.
Oh, is it working?
Yeah. I think
There he is.
Can you hear me too? I'm using
Yeah,
like
we can hear you.
a weird mic.
What's up, Graham?
What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
How much?
Good.
Did you get a haircut, or are you wearing a beanie to like?
No, my hair is normal length, but I shaved my beard.
Oh, that's what
I see. Yeah.
I'm not used to your
Yeah.
short hair.
Yeah, the tables
It
have
looks a
turned.
little different.
Manu's got the beard. I've never seen Manu with a beard. You guys have probably
Wait.
never seen me without one.
Oh,
I feel like I
yeah.
have a beard. I feel like I have a beard pretty often. It's just that, like right now, it's just like very, very long. And
That's the longest
I
I've
need to
seen
cut it at some point. Yeah.
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 That's going to be
I pretty much have a stubble.
Is that going to be an incentive for the ACS, the Cancer Society stream? Raise
Manu to
$500 and Manu shaves his beard
So I can finally
on
shave.
stream.
All right.
Not a
Well,
bad idea.
anyways, welcome in, Graham. Thank you so much for joining us. We just thought, we just wanted to ask you a lot of things because you're local to the NorCal Bay Area cubing community. So obviously, when you kind of started, we sort of all know each other within the same area, go to the same competitions, but not a lot of people who know you for your multi-blind successes in your career know about all of that, the beginnings of Graham's cubing career. So the first thing I really wanted to ask you was, well, how did that start out? Obviously, I mean, there's plenty of stories how you picked up your first cube or where you saw it, but really like what year you started and what hooked on, what you hooked on.
Well, when I actually started cubing was actually like not way before, but maybe compared to a lot of people, like I started cubing, I think, like a year and a half before I went to my first competition. But I also started like way later than most people started. I think I was 22. And yeah, I had a friend at school. I was like deep into my physics undergrad studies and just like at school all day, every day. And I like had a friend who was always like playing with a Rubik's Cube and like solving it in 25 seconds or something. I think he averaged something like that. And he always had like everybody like oogling over him, like, oh my God, that looks so cool. And like asking him to teach them how to solve it. And I think he'd like gotten that a lot. And he was always like, yeah, well, you gotta like, don't waste my time, I'll teach you if you don't waste my time and you actually like go through with it. And then most people like didn't, but then I actually got super into it. But yeah, so I got like faster than him like pretty quickly, and then learned blind. Like I think I did my first blind solve like a few months after learning how to solve it, period. And but it was like stressful thing. Like 3 blind memo is like stressful when you're first learning it, And so I just like, I think I did it for a couple of weeks after learning how to do it. And then I just like stopped and I got into other stuff like square one and big cubes and stuff. But then I got back into it with my first competition. I like heard about a Berkeley comp and I was like, all right, I'm finally going to man up and go to this thing because it has 3x3 blindfolded and that'd be cool to like do an official 3 blind. And so I started late 2014 and then my first comp was early 2016. I think it was Berkeley spring or Berkeley.
Yeah.
Berkeley Spring 2016.
It was definitely one of those. Yeah, 2014. That's what I kind of thought that of when you actually like started and picked up your first cube.
Yeah, it was like right at the end of the year, 2014, pretty much. I remember because I learned how to do it, and then like a couple weeks later, after I like got the 3x3 down, I bought like a Megaminx and a 4x4 and a 2x2, I think, and then like it severely impacted how I did in finals. So I was like, I got super addicted so quickly. And I just
yeah,
that was like one of the only like semesters where I like didn't have almost all A's in my undergrad. But it was fun.
Yeah, I remember. I find it very interesting because I actually started out within the same year, probably within 1 or 2 comps of you. I don't exactly remember. I feel like my first comp was Berkeley Fall. I don't imagine Berkeley Spring was my first comp, but yeah, I came around in the same year, and I started around the same year too. So, which was very interesting, because what I thought was interesting when I saw you compete, like when we first started out competing, is I don't know if you considered yourself an all-rounder, but it kind of felt like you were an all-around cuber starting out. Did you feel that way?
I mean, I don't think I've ever really been an all-rounder. I just I like doing most of the events, and if it's offered at a competition, I'll just compete in it, because why not? And I have every puzzle pretty much. So I don't know. I like to have like a full profile, and like, I don't know, any kind of improvement is like gratifying feeling, so I just go for it pretty much.
Right. Well, when you were starting out, did you obviously you had a lot of events that you were really hooked on. Did you have anyone that you were already looking up to? It could be someone niche, honestly, or could be like someone amazing like Felix, for all I know.
Well, Moscow, definitely. Like, for sure, Moscow. Before I even learned how to solve like a 3x3 blindfolded, like basically like within a month after learning how to just solve a Rubik's Cube, I was like, I found some of Moscow's videos, and I was just like, no way, dude. Like, I remember the first time watching Moscow's 41 out of 41, and I was like, I definitely was watching it like in the physics club room at my school, and I showed all my like classmates. I was just like, guys, this guy has to be like insane, or like, I don't know, like actually have some like brain disorder that like makes this possible, because really this is not possible like for a normal person.
You do realize that now people think the same thing about you, right?
Yeah, definitely. And like, yeah, it's a funny thing to think back, because I very clearly remember thinking that, like watching that video, and he's like acting out his memo and like doing all this stuff with his hands, and I was like, this guy's insane, like literally insane. I was just like, what the hell's wrong with you?
That's cool.
It's really surreal. Because you're in that position now, or at least before competitions sort of stopped, you were in that position of Moscow, and it was kind of weird to see that people were walking up to you to talk to you about your multi-blind world records and ask for autographs. And like these kids that just want to talk to you. It's it was definitely pretty crazy to see, but obviously like it was very successful. You grinded really hard on that. I remember watching people doing 3-blind solves, because I mean, it's just super interesting to watch, right? I think it's one of the best spectator events.
Yeah, 3-blind is a really good one. Yeah,
people that I knew who were doing blind, like say for example Manu, Jacob Posner, Ryan, stuff like that, or they were all like getting like 1-minute solves, 2-minute solves, and then like people started flooding in. Like Graham, you would get like 48s, 49s, and I thought that was impressive. And then there was this like one random dude, his name is Ishan. I know you know Ishan. But, oh my god, that was so fast.
His improvement was really wild. Like, he I think went from literally just learning 3-blind to being like world class in like a year and a half or something, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
pretty wild. Like he got sub 30, a sub 30 single like in under a year, I'm pretty sure, which is just like that's pretty insane. Like from literally starting cubing and then got a sub 30 3-blind single in under a year.
Yeah, I mean, this is in no way. I mean, like this is a credit to your grind, but you've also haven't been cubing for very long. But like I said, I do remember you getting those like 40s and 50-second solves and successes, and then now you just churn out 20s like it's no big deal. And like it's just hard to like fathom how that improvement is there, you know? Even if it's across a span of a couple of years or 3 years, it's just really insane to see the best of the best kind of solving, you know, from someone who's like, you know, chilling out local.
It's really just a testament to like just putting in like so many hours on like a regular basis that just does that. Like like I can like guarantee a sub 25 single like 95% of attempts probably, and like that used to be like very, very difficult. Like I remember getting like a 26 and freaking out, you know, like a year or two ago, something like that. So like it's really just like doing 100 solves a day, just like going at it over and over and over again. It's kind of cool. It's just like your brain just adapts, kind of, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Graham, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, you can go. It's cool.
Okay, I was gonna ask, like, at your peak, like when you were cubing the most, how many like hours per day would you say you were cubing? Because I think you were also in school also at that point, right?
Not while I was cubing the most, definitely.
Oh,
no.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so like last year probably.
Last year, okay.
Like leading up to Worlds, I was probably cubing a lot because I had basically like I don't know if I ever technically dropped out of my master's program. I could still like finish it. I just have like I either have to do a master's thesis or like a oral exam, like one or the other pretty much. But I just like I was working in a lab and it kind of just like fell apart, and then I just stopped going. And then I was basically just like only cubing for like 6 months probably after that, and basically just getting ready for Worlds because I'd never gone to a Worlds and I don't know if I ever would again. So just like went all out. I was probably cubing like at least 6 hours a day.
Hey, I gotta ask this because I know you've been cubing like a lot just in general during that time, but as someone who's an older cuber, did you have like serious problems with your wrists at all or your hands? I mean, the TPS that you have to do.
Surprisingly, I've wondered about that too. I was like, I would think it would really mess with my hands, and I always was like expecting like the carpal tunnel is gonna hit any day now, and it just like I've never had any problems still.
Dang, that's a red flag. Maybe that's just me then. Oh my god.
I have a theory that because I mean, people who try my cubes probably know that they're usually like really loose and or really fast.
Oh yeah,
like a lot of.
I cannot believe how weird your cubes are.
Yeah, I think like it's just a preference thing, but like it's probably a lot to do with like I just like to be able to practice a lot, and my hands get tired if cubes are slow. I think maybe.
Right.
And
maybe.
I just would prefer it takes less effort to turn, so I just have all my cubes pretty loose, you know. So that might have something to do with it. Like maybe people get hand problems if their cubes are too tight, and that like requires putting in a lot of effort, and it just like really like wears down in your joints or something.
Oh, maybe. Do you still main a GTS, or like I mean, in any of your multi-blind solves, or do you still use GTS?
Oh, multi-blind I use all GTS V1s. Yeah.
All GTS, non-magnetic, right?
Yeah, no magnets. In 3-blind, I like kind of switch back and forth between the Weilong WR and the GTS one, just whatever I'm like feeling like, basically.
Is that because so for multi-blind, do you use the same cube just because that's the one that you started with, or do you have any reason to stick with that?
Well, yeah, if I could get like 70 Weilong WRs, I would probably.
Oh yeah, that's so bad.
But that would cost so much money, and like I asked Moyu about it on just like I was like, might as well just ask Moyu because they sent me like 40 GTS ones, and it was like not a problem for them, I guess. But Weilong WRs are like way more expensive, and
right.
they kind of just ghosted me on that one.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
were
I
like-
can't blame them.
They were like,
40
"That's a
bucks
lot.
pop.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
ask somebody else. I'll get back to you." And then they never responded.
Okay.
How'd you get the cubes for your 160 attempt? Were they all yours, or did you borrow?
Oh, well, so I have like 30 or so cubes that I just like collected until I started getting into multi-blind, probably like random cubes that were coming out over time. And then I got like, I think I bought like 20 MF3RSs when that first started being a thing. And then,
Oh, right.
and then I started getting into like the 40-ish number with multi-blind. And that's when I started buying a bunch of GTSs. Like I bought 20 for myself, I think, or no, I bought 20 and then I bought 20 more and then I got 40 more in 2 packs of 20 from OU. But then, so that only accounts for like 100 or something. And then a fan on YouTube hit me up about like if I could sign some cubes and send it to her, and she would like repay me however. And yeah, so I was like, oh yeah, I could send you some signed cubes. She's like, what kind of cube would you want in return? And I was like, oh, it'd be cool if I could like do a bigger than 100 cube multi-blind, and I only have like 115 cubes right now. So like, just like, could you give me like 10 of these cheap ones and I'll send you 5 signed ones? I thought that was like a pretty good deal. And then she sent me 89.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
what?
Holy.
So I was like,
Okay.
Wow, that's
like
insane.
wanted me to have an even 200 or something. So I was like, wow.
That makes sense.
Thank you. She sent me a lot of other stuff too that I like did not ask for, but was greatly appreciated. Like just like a bunch of snacks and stuff. She sent me like 7 pounds of dried cranberries.
Did those snacks come in handy during your attempt?
What was that?
Did those snacks come in handy during your attempt?
I mean, I don't really eat during attempts, but before and after,
Before-
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a very long answer to your question, but I bought like 100 of those cubes, or no, not 100. I bought like 60 myself, and then the remainder of the 200 I got as gifts, basically.
All right, anyone in chat, I have an incredible offer for you. If you send me 300 cubes, I will sign one of them and send it back to you. How about that? How about that? The offer is open, and DM me on Discord. We
Manu,
can talk about it.
I'll do you one better. All right, boys. If you want 2 signed cubes, all you have to send me is 289. You get 11 free cubes. Like, you don't even have to send me those 11. Just 289, and you get 2 cubes. It's like more than double the value.
Yeah.
I think that's worth.
You guys are
2
short
signed
like
cubes,
5
dude.
cubes.
Dude, 2 signed cubes means that like, see, the fact that like two of your signed cubes is equal to my 1 signed cube just means that your signature is worth half as much as mine.
Well-
so if you want a valuable one, guys, hit me up. Hit me up.
Oh,
Anyway.
Only as valuable as people are willing to pay for it. So
Yeah,
we'll,
that's a
we'll
good
see if
point.
people accept my offer or yours. It's only
That's
one or the
literally
other.
what's
Right,
gonna-
'cause
that's
you're
gonna be
right,
a
because
giveaway.
even though mine might be worth twice as much as yours, both of ours are worth 0 in the end.
Fair.
Jeez, that is there's not enough.
I mean,
there's not enough clout with you.
They
guys.
have to be at least worth like the value of the cube, right? Like $10 or something. Actually, no. If we signed them, it would probably destroy the cube.
Yeah, you can't really solve
exactly.
it. It's not comp legal.
True.
Yeah.
So I guess
Yeah.
the value really is 0. Okay.
I've had to turn back quite a few cubes that are signed, like for example, by you or signed by someone like Max.
Oh.
People
Just
try
having-
to submit cubes.
Like
that are-
they will just literally try to submit, even though the Sharpie goes across like 2 or 3 cubes. I mean, just dumb stuff like
It's
that.
allowed if
but,
it's only on the center, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but
One
Yes.
center, yeah.
but a lot of those cubes have logos, and then they sign it on the other side, and that counts as a double logo. So that makes it really bad. But yeah, anyways, Graham. So I wanted to ask what kind of. So I'm curious about this too. If you had any sort of hobbies or interests outside of cubing that you wanted to share, I don't know how well-rounded a person you are, or are you just like balls to the wall cubing?
Hobbies or interests? I have a few, I think. Before getting into cubing, I was really into skateboarding. I mean,
Right.
before getting into my physics degrees, I was really into skateboarding. That school stuff kind of took over, but I like in high school, I was skating like at my peak, probably like at least 5 hours a day, like
Oh my god.
every day
jeez.
too. And then like right before graduating high school, I tore my ACL and my meniscus, and that like put me out for like 10 months or something. But then I like slowly got back into it in like my first couple years of college. But then, yeah, the physics degree just got like really, really brutal. I think a couple of you guys know how that is, at least. And so I was pretty much just like at school all day, every day, and couldn't skate for a while. And then I think that was like kind of a convenient time for me to pick up cubing, you know, because something you can just like pick up, do for like 20 minutes to like not like drown your brain with school stuff and then get back to school stuff. But yeah, also, I mean, I'm pretty into like, I watch like a handful of political podcasts a lot. Recently started getting into like Twitch a lot and speedrunning, which we've talked about.
True.
Yeah, I got pretty into Mario speedrunning. I'm still doing that every day. It's fun stuff. Just like video games in general, I'm pretty into. I like mostly retro video games, like the old Pokemon games or like Donkey Kong, anything old Donkey Kong stuff like that. Yeah.
Have you played any games on the Nintendo 64 besides Super Mario 64?
Oh yeah.
Or just-
I mean, I grew up with that console, and
Okay.
so I played like pretty much most of the popular games. I like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, GoldenEye, Donkey Kong 64. A lot of people don't like Donkey Kong 64, but I still like it. It's a really scuffed
Have
game.
you tried
but
speedrunning Donkey Kong 64?
no,
There's so many
I hope I
crazy
never
tricks
do.
for that.
I hope I never do that.
One of the to take a slight speedrunning side, like tangent. One of the glitches in Donkey Kong 64 is that when your game lags, it compensates for the lag by increasing your speed. So you can, similar to how like BLJs allow you to clip through all sorts of things in Super Mario 64, you can do like a lag boost and clip through like doors and all sorts of things with.
I knew that there's like an absurd amount of like walls that you can just walk through.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was that weird mechanic with dealing with lag, but yeah, it kind of blows my mind how like these game developers like seriously could not figure out how to make lag stop like being so huge of a problem. Like with the N64 games, at least, like it's a huge thing in Super Mario and
Yeah.
and GoldenEye too, but yeah, huge in Donkey Kong 64. It's like all the time. There's lag always.
In Super Mario
Makes it really
64, I think one of the problems with the English version of Super Mario 64 is that they didn't use the O2 flag when they're compiling their game, which like optimizes certain code away. And so
Yeah,
essentially
I don't
they,
really
like,
know what that means, but I heard
yeah,
that
they like
before
released
too.
a debug build of the game because they were writing code with the debug build and they weren't confident that their code would work if they like shipped it anything else like that they didn't test it on or like write the code we're using. So
Well, and I guess like that was made in '96, so I don't know if we can really bash them because
Right.
power was like astronomically small. Astronomically small. That's a oxymoron. It was microscopic compared to. No, that's wrong too.
infinitesimal.
Computer reviews, that
I
was
don't
the
know.
problem.
Yeah.
Astronomically small. I'm gonna start
Power
using
was
that.
bad. They had computers, and so maybe like running a script, like maybe any like just like intro programmer could run a script that would take like 5 seconds now, but would have taken like a week back then. So I don't know. Probably a lot harder, and they had like budgets. I don't know if we can blame them, I guess.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite like testaments to like old school video games is whenever I see people like speedrun like Blue. I think like that game is just it's the way that like everything is put together with like duct tape and glue. But like if you don't do anything crazy, nothing breaks. It's crazy.
What was the game you're talking about?
I love watching speedrun. Oh, Red and Blue.
Oh, Pokemon Red and Blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. There's still some jank stuff in Pokemon Red and Blue. I don't know if we're gonna talk into
the whole game.
I feel like we're turning into a speedrunning podcast, which is very similar to speed cubing.
Yeah,
But
dude, I
You know
heard.
what I find interesting is I can't believe. I mean, obviously, Pokemon's been going for like 20 something years.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate a little more to Pokemon than like Super Mario and stuff like that, or the Nintendo 64. But it's kind of crazy to hear that Pokemon is an old game. You know, it's old fashioned and.
Dude, it's super old. That was like Pokemon Red was like one of the first video games I ever played in my life. I like vividly remember that. I was so excited about it at like 5 years old or something.
yeah,
I think my first game was Pokemon Crystal. I'm not sure if people remember that.
Oh, yeah.
It's
That's
the one
cool.
in between Gold and Silver, and then they just had Suicune on the front cover. But
Yeah.
I don't remember the actual gameplay or what was different about it as the third of the trio. But
Oh, it just means you can get Ho-Oh and Lugia, like both the legendary birds.
wait,
Basically,
Are-
that's like
are you
and there's,
telling
like,
me
a-
Graham Siggins is calling Lugia?
Lugia? I don't
Come
know.
on, Graham. It's
I wasn't gonna call him out on
Yeah,
much.
obviously.
Yeah, it's Lugia, but come on, man, he's our guest. We're not supposed to call out our guests.
Graham.
Dude, I prefer
Bro, I
Lugia.
gotta. Alright,
I
I'll
don't-
roll with
Lugia
Alright.
sounds like you're like it sounds like you're referencing mucus. It's weird.
True.
That's actually kind of true. That's actually kind of true.
Lugia
It
sounds
does
like a
sound weird.
Yu-Gi-Oh card. I'm just gonna say it.
I mean, maybe
Lugia
that's
or
how it
Pidgey?
was there.
Also, for the longest time, I used to think that Lugia was Luigi. Like, was similar, like spelled similar to Luigi. I thought it was like Luigia or something.
Whoa, okay. I thought Graham was pretty dumb for thinking Lugia was pronounced Lugia. But how could you think that Lugia was related to Luigi,
Look,
man?
man, I was like
Oh,
6 years old. I didn't know how to read yet.
Distant cousins.
I mean, I didn't know how to read. Ugh. All right, so Graham, let's talk about multi-blind. When did you start realizing that multi-blind was one of like the events that you thought you would main?
Was
mean,
it when you watched
kind of-
Moscow?
Well, no, definitely not. When I saw Mascot doing it, I was just motivated. Like, I just want to learn how to solve a 3x3 blindfolded. Like, I'd be satisfied. I like felt like I'd be satisfied just learning that. And then obviously, like after you do that, after a while, you're like, all right, maybe I should try 2. That'd be cool to get 2. And then, yeah, I did 2, and then I was like, all right. I remember trying 3 and 4, and I was like, this is really hard because I wasn't using rooms. Like my first competition. I think it was my second ever competition had multi-blind. It was one of those ones at the Moose Lodge in San Jose. And it was like, you could do 3 attempts if the cumulative was under 1 hour, or you could do 1 attempt in 1 hour, and I was slow, so I did 3 attempts, and the first attempt was 3 out of 3, and that was like my first ever multi-blind attempt officially. And then I tried 4 cubes on the next 2, and I did like I think 1 out of 4 and 2 out of 4, and I was like, that was my first time ever trying 4, and I was like, that's so hard because I wasn't using Roman rooms. I was just like brute force like letter pairing it, and it was so confusing, and I just like I could not see how that was like easy to do ever. And then I remember like the next week I just like went home and I was like, all right, I'll try using rooms. And then first time I used rooms, I did 4 out of 4, like 5 minutes faster than all my other attempts, and I got 4 out of 4 perfectly. And I was like it like blew my mind how much easier that made it. And then I think like a few days later, my next attempt after that 4 out of 4 PB, I tried 7 just because I only had 7 3x3s, and then I did 7 out of 7 in 49 minutes, and I was like, oh my god, this immediately, like that was definitely the moment probably where I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna like main this event.
Okay.
Because yeah, I was like, I found the key. Like you just have to use this memory technique. It's amazing. And I was just like, I've literally done like 3 attempts and I've got 7 points. Like imagine if I actually practiced this a lot. I just got really motivated, and like just like look like getting 7 out of 7, and then just like at the time looking at the leaderboards like on WCA, like I think at the time 32 points was North American record, and like but like second in North America was like 20 points or something. So I was like,
Oh, right.
I was like, I could get there like in less than a year. I like immediately knew I was like, I could definitely get to that point in less than a year. And like in no other event had I had like that kind of exciting like realization yet. So that was like huge motivator.
That's really interesting to hear, like how you had an aha moment where you really could project your future in a way. I think a lot of people kind of like get hooked onto the event kind of like normal, but really just end up where they are by like happenstance. But I find it very interesting to hear your confidence when you had that realization. What is Roman rooms, by the way? Like, what is the methodology behind it?
I mean, it's literally just like, instead of trying to memorize stuff just like in the limbo of your brain, just like in darkness, like say you wanted to remember like a dog is sitting on a bed, and then like your mom is like cooking broccoli or something. Like you want to remember those two things in that order, like all those 6 words in that order, instead of just like repeating it over and over again until the order sticks in your brain, just like loosely just sticks there somewhere, you know? You're like planning out how you're going to organize all those words and like those situations. You're basically like planning out a setting for everything before you even start memorizing something. It's essentially like you're doing a lot of the work for yourself before you even like start the timer, you know? And so all that stuff you're memorizing isn't just like in the limbo of your mind. It's like organized, and you can like go to the first place in your memory palace and be like, what did I imagine happening right there? And then it always just like comes back easier, almost always, than it would have. And then you go to the next spot, and the next thing you put in that spot is there. The only thing, you're basically like memorizing the layout of a whole memory palace, and that's like you doing a lot of memorization before the timer even starts, kind of. That's how I like to think about it. Like that's why it's so helpful. You're doing like a bunch of work beforehand.
Okay.
And like you're basically like getting the memory palace like perfectly stuck in your brain. Like you can do anything like that just like with enough time, you know?
Right. Oh, okay.
Have you ever used memory palace before, Michael?
You know, I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed to say this because I've said it a lot, but man, I cannot do a 3-blind solve. Like
Really?
I can't even do a single 3-blind solve. I have had a couple successes where I've had like 8-minute solves. I tried it. It was so exhausting. I laid in bed like after my first success, and I know like you have to just practice. It's the memo that gets really difficult.
You know what I mean then about like when I first started doing 3-blind, and then I just like got uninterested in it because it was like stressful, you know? You like
it was.
don't
just
want to like
so
spend
bad.
8 minutes memorizing and then just like forget all of it all of a sudden, like and not know why.
Exactly. I had like 10, 12, 14-minute like DNFs, and it was just, my god, it was so demotivating.
That's true.
Yeah, it's super taxing. I had the same
If you
experience
don't know
when I
like
was
how to fix your problems, that's
sorry.
if you don't know like how
go
to
ahead,
fix
go
your
ahead.
problems, which is like where you're at when you're a beginner, then it's really hard to find the motivation to like keep doing it. But yeah, you just kind of have to, there's like a point you have to get past, and then you like realize how to improve. You just got to like stick through that first like month or whatever it is, and once you get past that, then you can like the faster the solves get, the easier it is to practice, you know, like so.
Right.
Were you gonna say?
I've been thinking. Oh yeah, Manu, you wanted to mention something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's like the same experience I had when I was doing 4-blind and 5-blind. Is just like I'm gonna put all this time into practicing this, but I know the chance of DNF is like so high. It was so exhausting, which is why when I finally got my 4-blind success, I was like, okay, I'm done with this forever. Now I can put this away. It was like a check mark off the bucket list. So yeah, I definitely understand. It can be like very taxing, especially since like a lot of people go to cubing as like it's kind of like it's like almost mindless, right? Like to solve a 3x3, it doesn't require that much effort after some time. So it's like really different in that sense, like 3 blind, 4 blind, multi, FMC, because you kind of like sit down and think about it, which I guess is why people find them interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it can be kind of meditative too, right? Because it's like, it's very, it kind of really grounds yourself and forces yourself to focus on the present instead of like worrying about the past or the future. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Yeah,
man,
like how often
that's
nowadays
deep. That's
do we
super,
do something
super deep.
where we're not like using a screen and like stimulated by like various different things all at once, like nowadays, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, maybe we're using a screen as like a timer, but other than that, we're like just focused on this like inanimate object like for a long period of time, and that's all we need. It's really like actually kind of like a form of meditation. I always felt like, yeah. And just like learning how to be like super, super focused as best as you possibly can and like block everything else out. That's like a lot of what meditation is. So
Do you cube with music on? Like, do you practice like blind solving with music?
I'll do 3 blind with music with no lyrics sometimes.
Yeah.
I can do that pretty easily. It doesn't mess me up at all. But yeah, like 4 blind and 5 blind or anything bigger, no, definitely not. No music or anything.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of instrumental music is where I realize I perform my best when I'm cubing. But I can't, sometimes, like I always cube with music, but then just once in a while I decided I'll like pick up a puzzle, pick up a stack mat and start solving, right? And then in a blink of an eye, 2 hours have passed and I had not been playing any music and I just did like a 200 solve session or something. So it's pretty crazy, that weird zone kind of. I did like, it's kind of hard to think about because Stanley is so fast, but I also remember you're really fast at 4 blind and 5 blind. Did you actually actively? Yeah. Did you? Well, I don't even think it's relatively, right? Because who was?
I mean, I'm definitely
definitely
like really slow compared to Stanley now.
Well,
but like pretty.
He's
But I'm like 4th in the world for 4 blind and 3rd in the world for 5 blind. It's kind of crazy.
Who were you
Like,
competing
Stanley
with
is so
before
much better
Stanley?
than me, though.
Like it was Kai Jun, and then who else?
I mean, Kale, I guess.
Oh,
Like, I
Kale
took,
Shun.
like, I actually got. People may not remember this because I only had it for 6 days until Stanley got it for eternity. But I had 5 blind North American record at one
Right.
point.
I do remember
Yeah.
that.
And
Yeah.
I took that from Kale. He had the North American record in 5 blind for like 4 years or something before I got that. And then 6 days later, Stanley beat it. So I'm really glad I actually got that because that was basically like the last week I could have ever possibly had 5 blind record in anything.
What was the first Continental record you had? Was it the 5
was
blind
like-
or was it multi?
Yeah,
I
5
think
blind.
probably 5 blind.
Multi blind
yeah.
came like wait.
Multi
Yeah,
blind.
multi-blind came like 6 months after, or maybe like 9 months after the 5 blind Continental record. I got my second Continental record was 42 out of 42 multi-blind.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who your was Shivam your main competition at the time when you were still grinding? Oh, it was.
In
Yeah.
multi-blind?
Yeah.
Well, so Mark. I mean, Mark was like
It
the
was
goal,
Mark.
basically. Like
Right.
he's who I bopped to get the North American record.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, it was Shivam and Yu Chang Chen. I don't know if you guys know about Yu Chang. He's 3rd in the world, I think, still, with a
Yeah.
47 to 49.
Yeah.
I don't know if he stopped practicing or not. I stopped hearing from him completely. But before I bumped the record from 49 or from 48 points to 58, I was like shaking in my boots every time Yu Chang was going to a competition because he was like definitely a contender to get world record before I bumped it a little out of reach. He basically had like I think like not counting me, he had like the top 5 like best unofficial multi-blind results.
Oh,
I
wow.
think, until Ro showed up, basically. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, Ro is. Did he improve specifically during the quarantine? Is that like when he made his biggest progression?
I mean, I think he's been practicing like pretty hard ever since Nats, I think. Like he was doing like 20 or 25 cubes at Nats, I'm pretty sure.
Right, right.
And he's just like he's not like backed off of it ever since then, pretty much, I think. And I think it's just that his progression has been like nonstop, like steady nonstop progression since then. So like probably like at like a 2 cube per week rate or something. So like from 20 cubes, 2 cubes per week. I don't know if that math checks out, but it's probably roughly correct.
Because you guys had a showdown on cubing at home. What was his attempt? 67?
No, he tried 61.
61. Okay.
Yeah, I tried
know
56.
Okay. Yeah, 50. You had like 52 out of 56?
53.
53. And what was row at?
I think he solved 2 over the hour. It was 54 out of 61, but he solved 2 over the hour, so
right.
52 out of 61, which is 43 points.
Okay.
So
I see.
beat him by 7 points. Still got it.
Easy clap.
Still got it.
Yeah. No, I just like I took the easy route, and I just like safetied something because I've been pretty out of practice, at least with multi-blind, for like before Keaton hit me up about doing that showdown thing. I hadn't done a single multi-blind attempt aside from like a few small ones, like 5 cubes, for like almost 2 months. And so I had to like do a quick de-rust. I think we had like a week and a half before having to like do that recording. And I did like a few 60 cube attempts and a few 62 cube attempts, and none of them went like really as well as I wanted. So I was like, I'm just gonna do something like stupidly safe and do 56. And
stupidly safe. I was gonna say like
4 cubes.
58.
Really easy.
If you went for 58 or 59,
I reviewed the first 32 cubes 6 times.
Dude, I saw that you took a really like safe and long time on the memo. And your execution started at like after 40 minutes, right?
Yeah, the execution I think was like mid. It was like 18.5 or something exact per cube or something, which is pretty good. Especially considering I was like turning like really safe, trying to like really minimize DNFs.
Yeah.
Which is funny because like you started off thinking that a 25-second 3x3 solve was fast, and now you're doing it blindfolded in less than that.
Yeah.
At least the execution.
Like marathon of like sub 19 solves blind.
Crazy.
It's a good achievement. It feels good.
I was also like going through the catalog of your videos, and I noticed that the 160 cube attempts was February 3rd, 2020. That's the video. Did that happen this year?
Yeah. I live streamed that.
Yeah, I know, but like it just feels so long ago because of the quarantine and everything.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that's what
I'm like,
you
there's
mean.
no way this happened this year. That's crazy.
Yeah, it feels like an eternity, I guess.
And then after that, you just stopped cubing or stopped multi-blind?
Not after that. I stopped like maybe a couple months after that. I kept grinding, like trying to like push up to like 60, like high 60s. But yeah, something about like my mental state just was off for a while, and like I was just not able to like perform nearly as well as I had like before I moved back down to San Diego. And I don't know really what it is, but I don't know, it was stressing me out, so I decided to just like get away from it for a little bit.
I think that's fair. I mean, multi-blind, obviously there's a lot more of a mental aspect than any other event.
Yeah.
Mostly the blind events, because you got to be in that like zone and focus. That it's like I don't know if it's really subconscious for you guys who are like at that level of blind solving, but I feel like the subconscious level of solving for like a 3x3 is a ton different than something like multi-blind. Like you got to really hone in and feel right.
It's weird because like I would have attempts, like I would be able to like some days just be able to like completely safety like a 64 cube attempt and like feel like I could basically guarantee like fewer than 5 DNFs or something. And And like 1 week I'd be able to do that like for like 5 attempts in a row, and then like some other week I would just like I would have this weird mental block and I would just get like 20 DNFs every attempt, and I like have no idea why. And multi-blind is like really weird like that sometimes. Like you can just have this weird mental block where your memory just like will not work how it used to, and it like causes like a snowball effect, I feel like, because then you start to like stress out a little bit about it, and you're like, I hope that doesn't happen again, and then I hope I don't waste my time on my next multi-blind attempt again. And then you do, and then you're just like, fuck this.
Yeah. No, I could totally feel that. I feel like bringing up Ro is interesting because he kind of falls under the category that I was curious about, because I kind of fall under that same boat too. You mentioned it earlier. You started when you were 22.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel different, or do you feel like you have a different perspective on cubing just starting out as an adult? Because I always felt like it always seemed more of a high school sort of thing where people peaked and stuff, and or like definitely 10, 11, 12-year-olds who are going to this really cool, fun competition. But going as an adult, I don't know if it's like a different perspective or you just feel different. But I was curious if you had that impression.
Going to competitions always feels a little weird as like somebody our age.
Yeah, that is true. That is true, because like
it's a lot of little kids, and like they're there with their parents, and like some of these kids' parents are like not much older than me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yeah, I feel a little weird sometimes. Like I should be, I should be mingling with the parents and like, yeah, the weather today. But as far as like improvement goes, I feel like being older, like, I mean, at least like most people who are older, like than 17 or 18, have like a heightened amount of patience with things like this, probably, and like, I don't know. We all probably know that like it's not so common for little kids to be into like 5-blind or something, or multi-blind, you know, because it's just like frustrating, and like they don't like to sit still for that long. Basically, like, it's kind of a no thing.
And the cubes are too big for their hands.
Yeah, it's like literally.
It's not like a universal thing, of course. Like there are outliers to that, but in the most part, yeah, like kids are not into doing things like that. So that's helpful, but also, I mean, the older you get, the better you get at just like problem solving and like figuring out like what works for your own brain, you know, and like how to like improve at things. The older you get, you just like learn how to learn better.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Kids are so
like
dumb.
strategizing
Screw
your
those
practice, kind of.
Idiot kids.
Yeah. So I definitely like, I don't think I would have improved as fast if I started like when I was 15 or something.
Right.
There goes half our
That's
audience.
definitely interesting.
I don't really know.
I mean, who knows? Like, you can never know.
Yeah. That's just basically, yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't know if Manu or Pritham had anything else they wanted to mention after, but I did have one more question, because I know we have to wrap up pretty soon. And it's related to the WCA. Because, like you said, your main event isn't really in line with probably the popular cubing, other popular cubing events, like something like 2x2, even something like 4x4, I think is immensely popular. Obviously, multi-blind is sort of niche. I don't know if you've heard it. It's nothing is actually like real. I'm just, you know how the community has heard about stuff like we should implement something like a tiered event system, right? For the WCA, like the world should hold tier A, B, and C, or have the events split up into certain things. I
don't know if I
like,
have heard about that. I'm not like I'm no longer in Cubic's friends, so I'm kind of out of the loop with some things from time to time.
I mean, it's not a common topic right now, but it's something that I think weighs on the WCA just in general, because it's a consistent question.
I've never really understood that. Like,
yeah,
I don't see why there's like frequently a need to like refine the events list, and like I really don't understand why we got rid of feet, for instance. Like, I don't think the whole argument that it's like an embarrassment or whatever like holds water at all. And other than that, I don't know like basically any other argument that makes sense to get rid of it, or like say somebody wanted to get rid of Scube just because it's like similar to like I don't know, say it because they think it's similar to Pyraminx and it's like another just like fast TPS event. Like let's get rid of it. Like why? Why do you like what is the point to get rid of any event? I don't really know. And so I remember back when I was in Cubic's Friends, the dark days when I was still in that group. There were some arguments about, like maybe like a year and a half ago, there were arguments about like, ooh, what if we removed multi-blind? Like,
Oh wait,
a lot
did
of people
bring that up?
a lot of people hate multi-blind just from a organizing perspective, which is like kind of understandable, but it's like just don't organize it, right? Like you don't have to. Just let the people who like organizing the event organize it. Like what's wrong with that? Like for some reason there's this notion that holding the event, like if the event is held less often, it shouldn't be on the events list, period. Like why? I don't understand that. You know?
Yeah, I was
Yeah, it's like
bringing
why
it up.
why remove it for everyone, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was talking with Manu and Preetham just about it earlier, but having it seems a little unnecessary for the WCA to have legislature on what events are more important than others, rather than like just give the communities the freedom to organize, because they're not being dictated except for like proximity rules, what events they can or can't hold.
And it's not
right?
like they're in like a business. They're
Yeah.
a non-profit, you know, like
yeah. Just let the communities figure out what is in the need at the moment. Like if it's multi-blind today or three blind.
The
tomorrow,
one
right?
argument I think, as just like a devil's advocate to what I was saying, is that like if it is just accepted that some events are going to be held less often, then like that could put like certain people at a disadvantage who like live in places where competitions don't happen very often or something.
Yeah.
But like that's like a fact of the community in general, like of this sport basically. Like that's going to happen, period. You're going to have less competitions just based on where you live, and there's nothing we can really do about that besides like try to get more people interested in it in those places, you know. So it's not like the event is the problem, really. It's like organizational things.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Just I mean, I was just curious to hear your thoughts about it, since you are in an event that is in that other category. But yeah, it is interesting to hear. I mean, I'm definitely not for it, but I know people still talk about it. It's still happening, and it's a conversation that's ongoing, but you never really know where it's going at this point.
I feel like a lot of people, some people in the community just kind of like to start arguments just for fun. It feels like that sometimes, at least. Like, yeah, some of this is not necessary stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but I feel like for the most part, the Keeping community is one of the best ones. We're a little awkward. We're all like little like not social butterflies, but it all kind of works out. Like we all kind of gather around this like one weird colored thing.
Yeah.
So, and there's like some sort of understanding, and like there's an understanding of just being able to like sit in front of each other and like just do your own solos for like 20 minutes without talking. You know, it's just weird.
Michael.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't really go to like a big competition and not like feel like the community is like pretty rad, you know, like
Exactly.
go to a Worlds and like try to not have fun.
Michael, we lost half our audience before this, and now we just lost the other half.
Oh, so sorry, guys. But yeah, I think Nats was my favorite competition. It was my first and only Nats. Unfortunately, it looks like my future plans are on hold, as is you guys's. It is what it is. But yeah. Do you guys have any more questions?
I don't know. Did you want to talk about Super Mario 64 anymore?
Yeah, I was gonna say. So when's the race, Graham?
True.
Oh, dude, I'm down whenever.
All right.
Okay.
Anytime, any place.
All right. I just threw
Oh my God,
gloves
I need to
down.
watch
I'm
that
ready.
too.
In 30 minutes, I'm calling you out right now. 8 p.m.
I'm down, dude. I could do
Oh
it.
wait, no.
Oh my
I
God.
was expecting you to say this.
Graham called out our bluffs.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna go play Mario after this. So
All right, that means you guys have to stream on your channels after this.
Maybe.
That's exactly what has to happen.
If my mom isn't gonna yell at me for dinner, that is.
All right, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I also kind of wanted to talk about there's speedrunning is such an interesting topic just because it's so similar to speed cubing. I feel like we're kind of going over time though, so maybe we should talk.
No, go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Well,
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
not worried.
Okay. Well, I don't want to eat into too much of your Mario 64 time, but what would you say
I
like
got
the similarities
plenty
and
of time.
differences between speed cubing versus speed running are?
I mean, just like this is kind of like general, but just like optimizing things. Like I find like a very similar feeling of satisfaction, just like whittling down little things that are like not optimal throughout speedruns. That's like a very satisfying thing for me. Just like if you're like learning an algorithm and you like started when you first learned it, you're like doing it like really janky finger tricks that are like not ergonomic at all, and then you like learn new finger tricks that make it so you can do it like 0.2 seconds faster, and then you learn like another way to do it like 0.2 seconds faster even more, and like that kind of thing. Those kind of things are like pretty similar endeavors, I feel like, and I enjoy them pretty much equally, I think.
Yeah, one thing that Pritham and I were talking about, I think a couple days ago, was that we were talking about like movement, like castle movement, movement in like the stages, and we're like, oh, this is kind of similar to like look ahead, in the fact that like you can't be perfect at it immediately, and also the fact that like it takes a while to get good at, and they're both like you need to devote yourself, and they're both kind of annoying, like you want to like practice the tricks, right? Like I remember the first trick I tried when I installed Mario 64 was cannonless, and it didn't work. I was like, screw this game. Okay.
Yeah, not an easy trick, really.
Yeah. But like you never really practice like the movement, right? It's like that you need to just like incorporate throughout your runs. And I guess like look ahead is kind of the same. What do you think about that, Graham?
First trick I tried, I think, was owlless, and
my God.
like literally 3 months later, I'm like still like can't do owlless like, more, like 1 out of 5 tries or something.
Do you
Like,
attempt it in
like,
runs?
No, I still don't do it.
Okay, because it takes like
But,
it saves you like 5 seconds. if
yeah,
anything.
at best,
Yeah.
it saves you like 5 seconds. Usually, maybe like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But what were you saying? Oh yeah. Wait.
Differences.
Oh, I totally had a point. What were you saying, Manu?
Castle movement versus look ahead.
versus look ahead.
Oh, what I was thinking is like the other part that I find like enjoyable is that like with cubing, you can basically just like practice an event. Like if you do like 30 solves, just like even if you're not really like focusing on anything in particular and just like do 30 solves a day or something on any event for like a month, you'll get like significantly faster if you start off at like over a certain bar pretty much. And yeah, like with speedrunning, it's like as long as you're just like just practice like an hour or 2 a day.
Yeah.
Just literally just do that. Maybe like learn a little strat here and there, like improve a little thing like every day, just like one little thing. You'll be like minutes faster in a month, which is like really satisfying. It just like feels good. I like that.
It's crazy because when we were doing our first run, I remember it took me like an hour to finish the game with save states because we play on emulator. Now we could solve it, like not solve it, but finish the game in like 30 minutes or pretty consistently. I'd say maybe 25 if it's a good day.
Yeah, and I started doing I mean, I didn't start doing Mario like this because I played it when I was a kid, but when I got back into it just recently, like I got back into it because I was watching people like Simply doing 120 star runs, and I was like, oh, I so badly just want to like beat this game with 120 stars. That seems so fun. And so I just like did a playthrough and I got 120 stars, just like figured out where all of them are and stuff, and then I did a timed one that was like a few sittings, but I like timed it each time I sat down and played it, and it was like 11 and a half hours the second time I did it over the span of like 4 days or something. And that was like 2.5 months ago, and now I can do it in like 2 hours and 15 minutes, which is pretty cool. Like massive amount of it feels really awesome.
Amazing. That's pretty
sick.
Close. Well, I wouldn't say pretty close to the world record. It's like an hour off of the 40 minutes off of the world record, but
yeah, 45 minutes ish. Yeah. Almost 40. Yeah.
Still, that's like really, really impressive though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun, dude. I like improving at things. Like that's another thing I guess that's similar to cubing is like something about the kind of things I'm into, like I'm a lot more attracted to events that like take like a couple hours or something, because I guess probably just because when you improve, it's like very tangible, not like fractions of a second or something, you know? Like I really don't practice 16 star almost ever, because it's just like little mistakes will kill your run, and I don't like that. You know, 120 star, you can make like a massive like 2-minute mistake and you're fine. You can keep going.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, are you also the kind of person who like optimizes parts of their life where they're like, okay, I'm gonna turn on the microwave, then I'm gonna use the bathroom, fill up my water bottle.
Yes, dude.
Get my
I think I
charging my
started doing
phone,
that.
get the remote from the other room, turn on the TV, and then open the microwave.
I think I started doing that after I got into cubing. Like cubing made me that kind of person.
Oh my god.
You guys have that same experience.
Yeah, kind of.
Hold on. I had no idea this is not. Is it not a thing?
I don't know. I mean,
Do people not do? Wait. Okay,
I didn't
'cause-
know other people did that. I do
So-
that like with my morning coffee. Like I specifically
Yes.
like start boiling the water first, because like that always takes longer than all the other stuff you have to prepare, you know. It's like that kind of little optimization. Boil the water first, or else you're wasting time. Always first thing you do when you get in the kitchen, throw the boiler on.
So like, yeah, I have literally 2 examples where I like when I prep pancakes, for example, what I'll do is it's always nice to have the pan like slightly heated. So I want to let it sit for a second. So the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning and I know I'm gonna eat pancakes, I go to the kitchen to like just turn on the stove, and then I go brush my teeth and do everything else.
Okay.
And then I come back after I brush my teeth to just get it started.
Kind of dangerous, Michael.
Yeah,
Kind of
you don't want to
dangerous.
leave.
My kitchen is very close to my restroom, so it works. But I do the same thing with coffee. Like,
Well, Graham, you say that, but
Yeah.
a lot of tricks in speedruns are dangerous. You know, I've
True,
taken
dude.
a lot of deaths, a lot of L's.
That is
from-
the same.
So
that is
you have
definitely
to
the
risk
same.
it for the biscuit. I like the way you think, Michael. Risking your life to save like
Risking burning
5
down your
minutes.
house is the same as
Oh
taking a
my
risky
God.
strat in Super Mario.
exactly.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, dude.
What's another thing that I do? Oh yeah, when I'm walking to class or when I was in college, I used to like optimize when I started, because for some reason I felt like I could control the cycle of the traffic lights that I hit. So I'm like, all right, as long as I just start at this time, I'll get early cycle.
Early cycle,
Early
nice. Yeah,
And then like if the traffic light is
you gotta
red,
get good RNG.
I'm like, yeah, if the traffic light is red, I'll be like, okay, I can take the detour, the side route to go.
yeah.
And then there's this
backup strat.
backup when you get
Backup
bad
strat.
traffic light RNG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's like always people flying on the walk to class.
Oh yeah.
So then
dude.
it's like, okay, if there are people here, I'm gonna take the side route so that I can skip the like NPC dialogue or the cutscenes.
Ah, I see. Yeah,
Yeah.
flyer skip. Yeah,
Flyer skip,
yeah.
of course.
Flyer.
I did a similar thing where when I was in my master's program, the workload got like so insane actually that like I had to basically like budget how much time I can spend on each thing. And so I would like while walking in between classes, I would be planning out, like I would be thinking ahead. I like applied think ahead to my life, and I was like while I was doing anything like idle where I couldn't be doing homework or anything like that, I would be thinking ahead to exactly like how I was going to spend my time when I got somewhere. And like throughout the week, I would like literally write down like, all right, that day I have to like do this homework and I have to do it in this amount of time. And then the rest of the day I'm going to like grade all this stuff, and that's going to take like 20 minutes per paper. And so therefore however many hours, and then I can get this much sleep afterwards. Yeah, dude. Master's programs be like
80-hour work week.
yeah, pretty much, dude. It's kind of gnarly.
Oh
Uh-oh.
no, Preetham's
I'll
gone.
fix
Oh, I guess that's a sign that
Yeah, maybe that's a
we should
sign.
probably wrap up with Graham so that Graham can get back to smoking, kicking Bowser's butt.
Oh yeah.
and saving the princess.
Yeah. You do it on your Twitch channel, right? You live stream on Twitch.
I haven't live streamed on Twitch for a while. I don't really
okay,
like live streaming Mario, just like with the scuffed setup that I have. I want to get a capture card before I start streaming that again.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And like a better computer, because I just have a laptop, you know? It's like really not something you can like video games well with like multiple capture points.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Were you listening into all that, Preetham, or are you just like at the end of the sentence?
I still have my headphones on. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. I was like, that's what it sounded like.
I think
You're trying to call him out.
the
No, I'm
VG
just having fun.
A capture cards aren't that expensive. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, I think that there's like really expensive capture cards, like the Elgato ones are super expensive and kind of
Oh, yeah.
overrated. But there are some that you can get for like $30. I know Clint
Oh.
Stevens uses a really jank like Chinese capture card. Dude, the Chinese
Really?
always making the greatest products. The cubes, capture cards, everything.
You got to hit me up with a link to
Alright.
one of those good.
I'll try finding one.
Like I don't need like a high quality one. Yeah, just like one that's not going to cost like $100 or something.
All right.
Yeah.
Sick, dude.
All right.
All right.
So,
I
we'll go ahead
guess
and wrap this
Graham,
up.
do you wanna shout out anything? We already mentioned your Twitch channel, YouTube.
Yeah, my Twitch channel is Sigalig. I don't know if that's on there. Sigalig.
Yeah, I think.
YouTube is just my name, Graham Siggins. That's about it.
Dope.
Haven't really been
Alright,
active,
well-
but hopefully pretty soon.
All right. Aver
Maybe
Media.
when quarantine's out. I don't know.
Oh wait, no, that's super
What?
expensive.
Maybe when quarantine's over, we'll see you like
Yeah,
rock
more
those
like-
records again.
I've been applying to a bunch of jobs, and applying to jobs is like actually kind of competitive right now, at least with stuff I've been going for.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
it's not been working out as well as I'd hoped, but once I can like get into my own place, I think I'll have a lot more like ability to like make videos and live stream stuff. So hopefully do
Okay.
that,
Yeah, definitely.
like
Alright, well,
maybe in the next month or something. Yeah.
yeah, we're pulling for you to get that job you're going for. So,
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, of course. This is all like it's so stressful. I can only
Not
relate
easy.
so much, but I can understand it's so stressful right now for you and some other people for sure.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
mean, I have it relatively okay, I think, but yeah, applying to jobs is a stressful thing.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. Is this we're gonna end it here? I don't think we have any more questions, and yeah, thank you, Graham, so much for joining our stream. It was honestly a pleasure and an honor. But yeah, thank
Thanks for
you.
having me on.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course.